All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling a big one. Maybe the biggest one, the book of Genesis. It's this incredible story of, well, everything. Creation, family, betrayal, faith. It's all in there. This is the story that sets the stage for, well, for so much. And it starts before there was even such a thing as history. You know, this isn't just some ancient religious book. Genesis is a story that, in a lot of ways, has shaped how we see the world. It goes right for the throat, asking the biggest questions you can think of, like, where did all of this come from? Why is there so much pain in the world? What are we even doing here? It doesn't start with a date, because there weren't any. It starts with a beginning. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. A perfect world, the very first people, and the one choice, the one decision that completely changed the game forever. Okay, check this out. It's actually really cool how it's structured. The whole creation story is basically about bringing order from chaos. God spends 6 days separating, forming, and then filling the world. You see the pattern, right? Days 1, 2, and 3, he creates the spaces, light, sky, land. And then days 4, 5, and 6, he fills those spaces. It's almost like a poem. And it all leads up to the grand finale, us, humankind made in God's own image to kind of look after the place. And here it is, the moment everything flips. Adam and Eve, they've got it all, a paradise. Just one rule. One, don't eat the fruit from that tree. But then a serpent shows up, whispers in their ear about becoming like gods, and they go for it. They make the choice. And bam, the consequences are instant. Everything changes. Their innocence, gone, replaced with shame. That easy relationship with God, now they're hiding in fear. Paradise is lost. This is the moment that sin, this break in the relationship between people and God, enters the story. And it's going to be a big deal from here on out. And that one bad choice, it doesn't just stay in the garden. Oh no, the fallout spreads and it gets ugly fast. We meet the very first brothers, Cain and Abel. Cain's a farmer, Abel's a shepherd. They both give an offering to God, but God prefers Abel's. And Cain, well, he just gets eaten up by jealousy. A jealousy that's about to lead to something terrible. And there it is, the first murder in human history. A brother's envy boils over into violence, and Cain kills Abel. When God shows up and asks, hey, where's Abel? Cain's response is just chilling. Am I my brother's keeper? That question just hangs in the air, doesn't it? So you see, sin didn't just sneak into the world. It exploded. It went from disobedience to bloodshed. So things just keep going downhill from there. Humanity spreads across the earth, and so does all the bad stuff. It gets so violent and corrupt that the story takes this huge, dramatic turn. God decides it's time for a reset, a total do-over. Wash the world clean and start again with just one family. And the key number here is 40. 40 days and 40 nights. You see this number pop up a lot in the Bible, and it usually means a time of testing or trial. And boy, was this a trial. God tells this guy Noah to build a gigantic boat, an ark, and load up his family and 2 of every animal. Then, for 40 days straight, it just rains. The whole world floods. It's a complete reset button on a global scale. After all that, we're introduced to a really important idea, the covenant. And you got to get this because it's central to everything that follows. A covenant isn't just a promise. It's like a super serious binding contract. And God makes the first big one with Noah. He puts a rainbow in the sky and says, this is my promise. I will never, ever destroy the world with a flood again. It's a powerful symbol, and it's just the first of many of these covenants we're going to see. But, well, you know people. It doesn't take long for that human ambition to bubble up again. Everyone speaks the same language, and they all get together and decide, hey, let's build a massive tower that reaches all the way to the heavens. We'll make a name for ourselves. God looks down at this, sees it as pure arrogance, and decides to nip it in the bud. He scrambles their language so no one can understand each other, and they all scatter across the earth. And that, according to Genesis, is where all the different languages and nations come from. Okay, so from this big, scattered mess of humanity, the story suddenly zooms in, like way in. It focuses on one guy, an old man from Mesopotamia named Abram. We'll know him later as Abraham. And from this point forward, he and his family are going to be at the very center of God's plan. And here's the deal God makes with him. It's a huge promise. God tells Abraham, leave your home, leave everything you know,
Go to a land I'll show you, and I'll make you the father of a massive nation. But here's the thing. Abraham is old, and his wife Sarah, she's old too, and they have no kids, 0. So this promise sounds impossible, right? And that's the whole point. It sets up this huge theme for the rest of the book. What does it mean to have faith when everything seems stacked against you?
So years go by. And guess what? Against all odds, the miracle baby Isaac is born. The promise is real. Everything seems perfect. But just when they think they're in the clear, God asks Abraham to do something so shocking it's hard to even wrap your head around. It is the ultimate test of faith. God tells him, "Take your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and sacrifice him." Can you even imagine? And the story is so stark. There's no argument, no pleading. It just says, Abraham gets up early the next morning, he chops the wood for the fire, and he starts walking for 3 days. Then he builds the altar.
At this point, Isaac turns to his dad and asks, "Father, we have the wood and the fire, but where's the lamb for the sacrifice?" The heartbreak in that question. Abraham then ties up his own son and lays him on the altar. I mean, the tension is just off the charts. He is literally about to destroy the very promise God gave him.
He raises the knife, and just as he's about to bring it down, an angel shouts from heaven, "Stop!" At that very last second, a ram appears, caught in a bush nearby. That becomes the sacrifice. Abraham passed the test. His faith was total. And God doubles down on his promise, saying that through Abraham's family, the whole world will be blessed. So after that incredibly high-stakes drama with Abraham, the story shifts gears. We move on to his son, Isaac, and his family. And let me tell you, this next part is less about heroic faith and a whole lot more like a really messy, complicated family drama. It's all about Isaac's son Jacob and a whole lot of trickery and conflict. So, Isaac and Rebekah have twin boys, Jacob and Esau, and they are polar opposites. Esau is the older one, this big, hairy, outdoorsy guy, a real man's man, totally his dad's favorite. Jacob, on the other hand, is more of a quiet, indoor type, a mama's boy. And his name literally means deceiver. And boy, does he live up to it. First, he cons his starving brother into trading his entire inheritance for a bowl of soup. Yeah, really. Then, he and his mom team up to trick his blind, dying father into giving him the blessing that was meant for Esau. And this kicks off this crazy cycle in Jacob's life. It's a classic case of what goes around comes around. See, Jacob tricks his brother, right? So he has to run for his life. He ends up at his uncle Laban's place, and what happens? Laban tricks him into marrying the wrong woman. The trickster gets tricked. And it just keeps going. His wives are constantly scheming against each other. And then, the ultimate irony, years later, his own sons deceive him in the most brutal way imaginable. It's just this domino effect of deception and dysfunction. Okay, this all leads us to the final, epic story arc of Genesis. And it's a big one. It's all about Jacob's favorite son, Joseph. And his story is just this incredible journey from a pit to a palace, full of betrayal and redemption. It really brings everything we've talked about together. I mean, talk about a roller coaster of a life. Joseph starts at the top, his dad's favorite. He gets this amazing, colorful coat, and his brothers hate him for it, so much so that they throw him in a pit and sell him into slavery. But in Egypt, he works his way up, only to get framed for a crime he didn't commit and end up in prison. You think it's over, right? Nope. His weird talent for interpreting dreams gets him an audience with Pharaoh himself. And just like that, he goes from the dungeon to being second in command of all of Egypt. And here's the climax. Years later, a huge famine hits. And who comes begging to Egypt for food? His brothers. The same ones who sold him. And they have no clue who they're talking to. After messing with them a little bit, he finally reveals who he is. Can you imagine that moment? They must have been terrified. But instead of revenge, he says one of the most incredible lines in the whole book. You guys meant to do something evil to me, but God used it for good. He saw the bigger picture, even through all that pain. And that's pretty much where Genesis wraps up. Joseph moves his whole family, all 70 of them, down to Egypt to ride out the famine. So think about it. We started with one man, Abraham. That grew to a family with 12 sons, and now it's a whole clan. Those 12 sons, They become the famous 12 tribes of Israel. The stage is perfectly set for the next book, Exodus. So what do you take away from all this? Genesis is it's raw, it's human. It's full of messed up heroes, families that are a total disaster, and some pretty epic failures. But woven through all that mess is this constant idea of a promise, and this incredible, stubborn faith. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? All these ancient stories about jealousy, forgiveness, ambition, betrayal, don't we see those same stories playing out all around us and even in our own lives today?